This weekend saw an additional 3 deaths in the space of 24 hours, bringing our total fatalities so far in 2024 to 61, which I think is 19 more than this time last year. Dreadful statistics. And Lieghio of the Road Victims Association joins us now. Good morning to you, Leo. Leo, you know firsthand how devastating that news is, that there are 3 families this weekend who have been told that they have lost a loved one on our roads, and that happened to you with your 16-year-old daughter. Will you, if you can, tell us the impact that it has on a family and a community when something like this happens?
Have you got all day?
I don't,
It's
but I wish we did.
it's 19 years now since Marcia is gone. That's 19 years longer than we only got to love Marcia for 16 years, and she's gone 19 now. And that pain is still there. Like special events, birthday parties, weddings, where she's missing Christmas, she's missing Easter, she's missing. And there isn't a day goes by that I don't think of her.
Do you
My
do
kids.
that thing, Leah, where you go, well, she would be 33 now, or she would be 35 now, or is that how you mark time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I do it. And my ex-wife and my kids, they all still feel it. Like it was years before my wife could even drive past the scene of the collision where she was knocked down. My kids, I can't talk to them and they can't talk to me, or they break down.
Yeah.
And I'm just one. Like in Erva, we're made up of a group of people who've all lost someone. And it's the same for them, and people don't see, all they see is the numbers on the news and on the TV and say, oh, that's terrible.
But
they don't see,
you're
they
nearly
don't see what
20 years on and still devastated. Is that fair to say?
Still devastated. And then when we hear the carnage still going on week after week, and say, well, God's sake, what do we have to do to make people understand that cars are lethal weapons and they just can't be driven the way you want them to drive them. They have there's regulations and rules and regulations there that you have to obey, and if you obey them, people will still be alive.
I know. You mentioned what can be done. We've been talking this morning about those Alco locks, the breathalyzers that stop the car, they immobilize the car if you're over the limit. They have brought them in elsewhere in places in the United States and also in France for people who've been convicted of drink driving. Would you like to see that here? 170 people were arrested for driving under the influence over the Easter bank holiday weekend.
That's an average over the last 2 bank holiday weekends. And that goes to show you that people know that the Gardaí have stepped up the enforcement at the road checks, and they still don't care. They still think they're going to get away with it. And when they're getting caught, the judges are giving them, if they give them the ban, they're not handing in their licenses, so they're not being banned. So this way is an alternative. The judges can let them keep their license, but they have to have one of these fitted to their car. And it's all connected as kind of a rehabilitation kind of system.
Yeah.
They have to go to see a psychologist, attend a psychologist, and there are regular checks on the monitor, on the alcohol lock itself, to make sure that's not being tampered with. And for just
so would you welcome that? You think that would make a difference?
It's a start. If personally, Ciara, if it was me, if anybody was caught drink driving, their cars would be confiscated. Personally, because at this day and age now, everybody knows it's wrong to drink and drive, and causes people the reactions to go off, causes them to speed, and people are dying. People like my Marcia are dying.
I know.
And I don't want to see that happen to anybody. I want to protect my other children, and I don't want to see any of your children or anybody else's children suffering on our roads.
Other things that you've mentioned previously, and the Road Victims Association, a lifetime ban for serious violations. I presume that means somebody going crazy speeds or maybe repeat offenders, but also different penalty points if you are in an 80-kilometre zone but you're done for doing 90. That's treated differently if you're in an 80-kilometre zone and you're doing 130.
penalties should be related to the seriousness of the offence. Like if you're driving 2 kilometres over an hour over the speed limit, you're fined €80. If you're driving 50 kilometres over the speed limit, you're still fined €80 and given 3 penalty points. That's madness. You know what I mean? And especially if you're doing a 30 mile an hour or 50 kilometre an hour zone, and you're 2 kilometres over the speed limit, you just find the same person is driving twice the speed over the speed limit. Shane Ross got it right. I know a lot of people don't like Shane Ross, but he got it right. TDs are playing political games with people's lives. He tried to bring in a bill where there was graduated speeding penalties, and the bill was read up and everything, and then certain TDs just knocked it on the head.
Do you think
Minister Chambers wanted to bring in double penalty points for bank holiday weekends, which was a start again, but I wanted for 365 days a year, and that was knocked back on the head.
Okay.
So,
do you think that there is? Shane Ross has been on this program before, and he has said he thinks there's a lack of political will to deal with this issue. Would you agree with him?
absolutely, it's all talk. We're getting all talk. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. There, and it takes 1 to 2 years for it to happen, and then there's no action whatsoever. People are dying now. The numbers are going up now. We need action now. I just caught a bit of what was talked about earlier on. Somebody saying they wouldn't have this fitted in their car. That's the kind of attitude people have in this country at the moment. The selfishness of not thinking of anybody else. I don't care if you don't want it in your car. If you're may put it in your car, you put it in your car. If you don't put it in your car, you don't drive. It's a simple fact.
Okay.
People's lives are at stake. Families' lives.
Look, I do appreciate.
And there's a whole circle. There's a whole circle of people around that person that died. It's not just the mother and father and the brothers and sisters, uncles, aunts, friends. The whole
communities. I do understand.
And then don't forget, we're not taking into account the number of people. It's 10 times those numbers that are seriously with life-threatening injuries.
Yeah,
We've got to remember that as well.
Lieghio, thank you for speaking to us.